out of love of God, there are people, of course, in every religion, but very few who go to him out of his love. And if you go to him with that purpose, with that motive force as well, then I assure you that you will not be wasted. But the issue which is being discussed now is is a different issue of an inquiring mind, issue of a person who is in search of something. For that my answer is still valid. I mean, I can't conceive of any other answer to this question. If you can, you better suggest to me.
Yeah, actually, I'm convinced in that point, quite
Yes.
clear.
Yes.
Thing is about believing in promised Messiah when comes on earth in different religions.
Well, I'll come to that too now.
Yeah.
First of all, let's decide the issue of the foundation of religion, that is God.
Yeah, which is Tawheed.
Yes, quite right.
Knowing the
Now about the promised Messiah, I tell you one simple way of finding out the truth, not by claims of the Messiahhood, but judging by the teachings of that so-called Messiah and the phenomenon of Messiahhood as is revealed according to him, as unveiled according to him. If you judge his truth or his claims by these standards, then it will be a more certain and positive way for you to reach the truth. When I illustrate this further, then you will understand. Now let's consider a few claimants in the field. They say they are the promised Messiah, the one who was to come. A, B, C, D, including Baha'u'llah, if you want to include him in the same list. Now, the claims are made, and you have not yet determined how the promised Messiah was to come. So you have to go back to the source and find out the original prophecy about the reincarnation or reappearance or descent, or a new representation of Jesus Christ, whatever was prophesied in the in the New Testament. Without starting from there, you can't gain the right bearing and direction. So leave these claimants for a while, fighting between themselves for acceptance, and let's return back to Jesus Christ himself and find out how he believes he would come. Now, the Christians believe that he would come in glory from heaven, and they do not attribute meanings other than this. So they are out of field altogether immediately, because whoever claims he has to come in that glory from heaven, and I have not seen yet anybody having descended from heaven in that glory. Have you?
Sorry?
Have you observed any claimant who appears to be fit according to this criterion?
Not in...
No, none. The coming of Christ according to the New Testament should be from literal heaven, among beautiful clouds, with great glory, so that when the glory of Christ, when he reappears, shines upon the world will not be left with an option of denying him again. This is the concept of Christ's recoming according to the Bible. Is that not correct?
That's right, in
That's
accordance
right.
with Christianity.
So all the claimants disappear totally from the field as false claimants, because they refer their recoming to the same New Testament which speaks of a completely different Christ. So they saw off the branch on which they are sitting. This is an Urdu saying which I have translated into English. You shouldn't saw off or sever the branch on which you are sitting. So they sat on the branch of New Testament, referred to the prophecies made in the New Testament, and made a claim that they are the Christ, they are themselves are the same Christ as was prophesied in the New Testament. Yet when you go to the original prophecy, you read a completely different version of the Christ to come. And none of these claimants fulfills that version. So they are out of contest completely. So you find out from each claimant, how can you justify your coming when, as we read the New Testament, where first the recoming of Christ is mentioned, we don't find any mention of you coming like that. So it's up to the claimant to prove his point from the sources, not by just making a loud claim. Now, when you turn to the promised Messiah in whom we believe, then his version has to be studied first. He disagrees with that explanation of the Bible completely. He puts forward a new claim, basing again on the New Testament, of course, but a study of New Testament in a different light altogether. And then he establishes his ground for the second coming. According to his claim, the Old New Testament has been totally misunderstood by the Christians themselves, not even misunderstood, but interpolated, changed. And the very first act of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ has been totally misrepresented. So is misrepresented his reincarnation and recoming and all that. So when you have to investigate into the claim of a claimant, you have to investigate the basis on which he stands. And the basis in that case would always be, to begin with, the New Testament, where the second coming is mentioned. The Christians fall out of the contest, as I have just mentioned, because it is against their claim is against their own beliefs. But the founder of the Ahmadiyya community has a completely different case to plead. First of all, he creates a foundation of the coming of the new Christ differently from the foundation so far understood by other people. He refers to the Old Testament, it denies the death of Jesus Christ upon cross. He denies his bodily ascent to heaven. Now these two claims are very, very important and fundamental claims. If you deny the death of Jesus Christ upon cross, if you deny his bodily ascent to heaven, what is left of Jesus Christ? Only a simple prophet, no God, no Son of God at all. He has to be seen in a completely new light from then on. If somebody proves these 2 points, then the whole personality of Jesus Christ changes, and the whole issue of his prophecies is also to be seen in this new light. This is exactly what has been done by the promised Messiah. He says, as I prove this point from the Bible itself, that Jesus Christ was, although crucified, was not permitted by God to die upon cross. He was taken down alive. Secondly, he migrated to the lost tribes of Israel and completed his mission among his lost people, as was expected of him. In fulfillment of his own prophecy as well as the prophecies earlier, he had to complete this mission, which he did. Not only spoke to the 2 tribes which were present in Judea, but he also spoke to the other tribes which had left that region much earlier.